Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. When it comes to the Detroit Lions, and when it comes to everything that we've known about them over the last couple of years, there is one constant thing that you can always count on when it comes to the Detroit Lions. They love being doubted. They love having naysayers say that they can't do something. They love it when people want to have some sort of kooky, reason as to why, this is why the Lions can't do that. This is the reason why the Lions won't be able to do this. And the Lions actually enjoy being in a position where they are being viewed down upon. But here's the one thing that is very odd about the Detroit Lions, is that typically when that happens, they don't typically get, kind of spicy about it. Now, when I say spicy, I'm not saying, they're going out there and they're dropping explicitives and, they're being very, open about it. Their kind of spicy is kind of subdued, and it's kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek, if you will. And the reason I'm saying this all is because yesterday, the Lions had some of their players, they had interviews after their first practice, actually for the season, and they were asked various questions. People talked to, Alex Anzalone, they talked to Graham Glasgow, they talked to Jared Goff, they talked to Aiden Hutchinson. And I remember I was watching that video, and when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, you can just tell that these players, they are more than fired up, they are more than ready to get the season underway. Not just from the perspective of, we've been dealing with training camp, we've been dealing with preseason, we've been, going up against each other in practice, so obviously they're looking forward to play against another team. They're looking forward to, actually playing football again rather than just practicing it. That's obviously part and parcel to the whole thing. But what the Lions are really looking forward to doing is actually going out there and showing people, not telling people, showing people, okay, this is what you truly think. This is what you truly believe about us. It's time for you all to get another education. It's time for you all to get another reality check, because apparently you still have not learned the lesson. You still keep thinking that you know better. You still keep thinking that, hey, you know what? The Lions aren't what they think they are. And it's like, I'm telling you this right now. As much as the Lions have heard all this offseason, it's like, dude, we've been dealing with this now for going on 3-something years, and it seems like every year people keep forgetting about who we are. They keep forgetting about what we've built. They keep forgetting about what kind of players and what kind of culture that we have. So, yeah. You can definitely tell with some of the comments that were made yesterday that the Lions, they are definitely spoiling. They're definitely picking for a fight. They are definitely ready to absolutely go out and bite some kneecaps and kick some ass. And why do I say that? Who specifically made comments that made me think that way? Well, specifically, it comes down to what Jared Goff said, and it comes down to what Aiden Hutchinson said. Let's talk about Jared Goff real quick and what the comments what were the comments that he said that were, particularly in this kind of whole thought process. The first comment that he had that really kind of, threw itself into that was there was a comment towards the end of when, Goff is on camera, and he was asked which role he likes being a part of. Which role does he like being in? Either the one where all the expectations are placed upon him, placed upon the team, or the one where everyone has doubts, the ones where everyone has concerns, the one where everyone thinks that the Lions can't do or he can't do what they think they can do. What Goff said was this. He said, it is quite confusing because I don't even know where do we stand externally. I don't know, and I don't really care. Are we supposed to be good? Are we supposed to be bad? You know, all these different storylines. We shall see. Time will tell. And then he's also talking about, we're going to go and try and win this first one and go from there. But yes, I like being on this side of it more when they doubt us. The last part of that quote is the important part. That's the money part. I enjoy, or I like being on this side of it more when they doubt us. Let's just call it for what it is, folks. Goff pretty much put it out there that what the Lions like and what the Lions, are looking forward to as far as this whole process is the same thing that us Lions fans have known about, this team since day freaking one. The doubt that other people have, the talking heads, the national media, the analysts, whoever have you, the Lions actually enjoy when they're being doubted upon because it gives them the chance to confound those expectations. It gives them the chance to surprise those people. Because you have to think about it. Ever since the Micah Parsons trade, virtually everybody has completely reversed script and said, oh, now it's the Packers division to win. They're now the most likely team to win the division. They're the most likely team to absolutely get back to being the creme de la creme in the NFC North. And if it's not the Packers and the whole Micah Parsons trade that's done this, you also have all the people talking about how, because they've lost Ben Johnson, the Bears are going to be better. The Lions are going to regress in that regard. And, the Lions are just not as good as what they are because the Packers have gotten better with a player that they brought in. They've lost people, so they're just going to fall off. They're just not going to be the same team. And so what the Lions really like is that ability to say, oh, you think that because of this, that, or the other thing, we can't be the same team that we've been in the past. You think that because somebody walked out the door, went somewhere else, that somehow limits what we can do. Well, what it does is it actually allows the Lions to play in a way by using that, doubt, by using that naysaying to actually motivate them and add further to the chip on their shoulder. Because everyone likes to think, the Lions going 15-2 last year, the fact that they've been to the NFC Conference Championship game, they don't have that same chip on their shoulder. They don't have that same hunger. They don't have that same drive. They don't have that same desire to absolutely go out and, be the kneecap biters, be the ass kickers and all that nonsense. Oh, no. It's still there. It's always been there. And you know what? The more that you doubt them, the more you add to that attitude, the more you add to that chip on their shoulder. And it doesn't matter if it's the whole team, it doesn't matter if it's Goff or anybody else that's specifically on the team. They all have that chip on on their shoulder. They all have that viewpoint of, hey, we're still hungry. We are still fighting because we know exactly what our expectations are. And until we get to our expectations, we are not for a moment going to be satiated by just the success that we've had in the past with, the winning seasons, the playoff victories, all that nonsense. That's not going to satisfy them. And when you think about it, the Lions have been doubted virtually every single year under Campbell and under Goff being in charge of, the on-field production and performances. And many have always thought that either Campbell is either not smart enough or that he is too emotional with his play decisions and that, Goff is not good enough. He's not mobile enough to, play at an elite standard, elite level in order to win or make a Super Bowl. The problem with that whole thought process is that when the Lions have been doubted, almost every single time that they have, not only have they confounded the talking heads, not only have they completely said, this is what you thought about us, they have completely destroyed those storylines. They've completely, absolutely obliterated those narratives. And what they do is they actually completely surpass even the best expectations from the worst naysayers. It's a motivation tool that the Lions use to add fuel to their drive, and when more people doubt them, they play better. they actually get better in terms of how well they play on the field, whether it's in terms of how well they produce, how well they're efficient. It doesn't matter. And the funny thing about it is Goff was asked a question that was earlier in said same interview, where he was also asked about, how Vegas had, shifted the odds from them being the division favorites to actually Green Bay being the division favorites due to the Parsons trade. And again, Goff's answer was very enlightening. What Goff specifically said was, yeah, Vegas has been wrong before, right? Who knows? We'll see. I think they're a good team, and they added a good player. We're all 0-0, so we will see. Again, what Goff is saying there is this. Okay, yeah, they added a good player. They're a good team. They've got good players, but Vegas has been wrong before. And let's be honest with ourselves here. Vegas has been wrong so many times about the Lions, it's not even funny. You go back to 2021 and 2022, no team was better than beating the Vegas spread than the Detroit Lions was. No team was better at it. Every single week, it was like the Lions constantly beat the spread. And then once it got away from beating just the spread, but actually, completely beating the teams that they were up against, actually, saying, oh, well, you think we're going to lose? Okay, we're going to actually go out and we're going to win. Because think about it. The 2022 season is a perfect example of that. They started the season 1-6. I'd be willing to bet this, if somebody actually knows this, but I can just base this off of, just logic, common sense, and based upon how Vegas works, that, hey, chances are when they were 1-6, Vegas had them virtually winning almost none of their remaining games. And then, oh, that's right, the last 10 games of the year, they went 8-2. So they go from being 1-6 to start the year, absolutely looking pitiful, and then they finish the year strong, 8-2, and finish with a winning record. So yeah, if there's one thing the Lions know is that it doesn't matter what the hell Vegas wants to say about the odds. It doesn't matter what Vegas wants to say as, oh, well, who's got the best chance of this, that, or the other thing. It's like, listen, what it ultimately comes down to is what happens on the field. And last time I checked, Vegas can say all they want about that, but the Lions have proven time and time again that it doesn't matter what Vegas thinks. They always seem to find a way to completely throw that thought process out the window well before it even gets started. But it wasn't just Goff that had stuff to say about this. It was actually also Aiden Hutchinson. Now, his answers were not as spicy, and most of his questions were not necessarily about, oh, hey, you know what? What's going on in regards to this? What's going on in regards to the trade and, the division? A lot of the questions that, Aiden Hutchinson had were more focused about, oh, his injury, his recovery, coming back from it, the expectations, the thought processes, the concerns about, what he was going to be now that the injury has been, according to him, fully rehabbed and he's ready to go. One of the questions that he did get asked, though, that does kind of relate to this is that he was asked by somebody about what it was like being able to play two NFC rivals back-to-back to start the season. And the guy asked, do you like being thrown into the fire? Do you like being, put into that position early? And Hutch actually gave a really interesting answer. The answer that he gave to that question was, I actually didn't know we played Chicago week 2. So it is good to know that. Been taking it one game at a time. I'm going to tell you this right now. Whether or not Hutch was being coy with his answer or he actually didn't know shows two important things. Number one, the Lions don't care who they play or where they play opponents. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. It doesn't matter if it's a division rival. It doesn't matter if it's an out-of-conference player, out-of-conference team. They don't care. They absolutely do not give one damn rat's ass about it. The only thing they're focused on is winning. And literally, every single player has said this multiple times. It's like, listen, I'm not concerned about production. I'm not concerned about contract talks. I'm not concerned about anything else but winning. That's all that the team is focused on, is winning, getting to a Super Bowl, and winning a Super Bowl. That's all they care about. But the second thing that answer that Hutch gave also shows is that they don't care what their opponents are doing outside of the building. They absolutely don't care that Parsons was added to the Packers. They don't care about the fact that, Ben Johnson is the head coach of the Chicago Bears and that, supposedly he's got something special for them. They absolutely don't care. And the reason that they don't care is because of two reasons. Number one, there's no reason to speculate upon what's going to happen until you actually get to the game. That actually kind of goes back to a biblical perspective about, what Christ said as far as worrying. It's like, listen, don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow has enough worries for itself. Pretty much only worry about what you can control right now. Worrying about what's going to happen in the future is pointless because things can change. But the second thing about it is that, why would they be concerned about what other people are doing? That's not going to impact them in the same sense as far as what they're actually doing in the building. It's like you can game plan, you can strategize for different types of players and different types of things that are going to happen. Absolutely. But trying to worry and trying to absolutely just go crazy bonkers over trying to figure out how to stop or overcome a certain thing, it's pointless. It's like, listen, the Lions simply don't care about the storylines. They don't care about, whether or not Parsons is with the Packers. They don't care whether or not he's going to play. If he plays, great. If he doesn't, okay, even better. They don't care about all that stuff. What they care about, what they focused on is, hey, we have a game in front of us. Our focus, our intensity is about winning that game. We're not going to focus on anything else. None of the storylines, none of the national narratives that go into it. It's like, hey, we are playing XY team. We are going to focus on beating XY team. And if that means we got to deal with somebody that's brand new, like Micah Parsons, we'll deal with that when we get to it. But we're not going to hype up all the narrative and all the storylines that are talking about that specific person. Because you know what? When you get out on the field, the storylines and the narratives, they don't matter for jack crap. And it also shows the maturity that this team has and the mindset that Dan Campbell has been instilling in this team since week one of him being hired the head coach. Because, that's right, what did Campbell say in, the Hard Knocks clips? He said, it doesn't matter if we play you on grass, it doesn't matter if we play you on turf, it doesn't matter if we play you at a landfill. And again, as I also have in my opening, doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes, I will still kick your ass. It's the truth. The Lions don't care. Have your views, have your opinions, have your storylines, have your narratives. We don't freaking care. All we care about is when we get out on the field, we're on even level turf. And pretty much the only thing that's going to change that is by the time we get to the end of the game and we've kicked your ass up and down the field and we got a W in the column and you guys have a loss in the column. That's all that matters. That's all they care about. The second thing that Hutch was also asked was how actually getting back out on the field and playing will finally allow outside people, from, the organization. So again, the naysayers, the story creators, the narrative creators, and, the talking heads to finally move past the question about his injury and about whether or not he's actually healthy, whether or not he's actually back to his old self prior to the injury. To again, what Hutch responded with was this. He said, I think when I play this game on Sunday, I think it will be in my past from the media perspective and from the fan perspective. People will have moved on, which will be good, because I think I moved on a while ago. Okay, first and foremost here, from the very first part of that statement, you can just hear that Hutch definitely has plans to make a big impact in this game against the Packers. He is definitely planning on having a big role, making big plays, and absolutely making his presence known against the Packers, against Jordan Love, because he literally said that he's like, all I'm concerned about and all this defense is concerned about right now is stopping the Packers and sacking Jordan Love. That's literally what he said. And again, what that's going to do is it should end the speculation on whether or not his leg is fully healed and whether or not he's actually able to play at an elite level. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, if there's anybody on this planet that is more tired of hearing this whole nonsense, it's got to be Aiden Hutchinson. Because it's like, listen, The rehab's done. The surgery is completed. I'm good. I've been absolutely terrorizing it in training camp. I've been showing that I'm fully good and I'm fully ready to go. But that's the only question everybody keeps asking him is, well, is the leg fully good to go? Are you feeling good enough to play? Are you feeling able to recapture what you did in 2024 before the injury? And it's like, dude, he's probably so tired of being asked that question, it probably makes him almost nauseous. But the other thing about it is that there's probably also a little bit of, that personal vendetta of wanting to shut up the naysayers, wanting to shut up the doubters, wanting to shut up the talking heads that have constantly nagged on him and doubted him since day one because of the injury. It's like, listen, what better way to shut those people up than to go out there and have a multi-sack performance? What better way to shut people up when you go out there and maybe you get a couple of turnovers, whether it's an interception, whether it's a forced fumble recovery, or a whole bunch of tackles for losses. That's my whole point. For Hutch, what he's tired of, other than, people doubting the team in general, is people doubting him. And he's absolutely looking forward to the ability to suit up and return and get out on the field and play at a top level and show people, listen, y'all wanted to think I couldn't do this because of this type of an injury. Let me show you exactly what I can do. And let me shut you up while I'm doing it. The point of the matter is, between Goff and Hutch, who are two of the biggest players on the Lions roster and also two of their leaders, they have a viewpoint that they, again, like I said, they don't care what people have to say either about them as a team or about what they themselves individually can or cannot do. They know what their expectations are because they have their own standards. They have their own expectations with inside the building. They know what they can do because they know exactly what they can do. They know better than anybody what they can do because they do it every single day at practice. And that, again, goes back to what their expectations, what their standards are. And they are loving the fact that these people want to continue to doubt their ability to play because, again, it gives them the ability to, again, go out and show them those naysayers, those talking heads that want to say things about them because, oh, well, Parsons got traded to the Packers. They're now the division favorites. They now are Super Bowl contenders. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, we now have the ability to go out and shock you because that's where you guys want to put us at. That's where you guys want to have us at. You guys want to put somebody else in front of us just because of a move that is now only you can talk about on paper. You don't have any film yet. You don't have any actual results in terms of wins and losses and all that other nonsense. You're wanting to talk about something that you can only talk about on paper. And again, what they're looking forward to do against the Packers on Sunday is to completely shock and surprise everybody and absolutely shut them the hell up. Because it's like, listen, we don't care what you have to think. We don't care what you have to say. But if you're going to say something, just duly note this. We will have it in the back of our minds to absolutely, completely just bury you. We will use that as every ounce of motivation and fire that we need to absolutely take it and stick it to somebody else. Because let's understand something here. It's not the Packers themselves that are saying anything. It's their fans. It's their media outlets. It's also the national outlets, the national talking heads. Everybody and their brother wants to say the same damn thing about the Lions and the same damn thing about the Packers. It's like, okay, duly noted. We're going to stuff that away and we're going to use that for our motivation and the chip on our shoulder, and we're absolutely going to play some, WWE SmackDown, kick-ass take name kind of mindset. That's exactly what's happening here. And trust me when I say this, the Lions are probably the one team in the NFL that are better than anybody else at making that a reality. So like I said, hold on to your hats, Lions fans. It's about to get interesting. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to talk about this because I saw this and I was like, ooh-wee, this is interesting here. This is some good stuff. Granted, you have to read between the lines a little bit, but it's still good. Having said that, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do this if you like the content. I hope to gain your subscription. And if you just subscribed but you've not yet had a chance to do so, or you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage y'all, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Hope you all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.